Hook. What would you do if you were all alone, quiet, and different, and the world decided to push you down? Would you hide? Would you break? Or would you discover that the strength you always needed was right beside you all along? Stay with me till the end of this story, because what happens when a gentle farm girl is cornered by bullies will not only surprise you, it just might change the way you see loyalty, courage, and love forever. The sun rose slowly over the wide fields, painting them gold and soft with morning light. On the edge of a small rural town stood a weathered farmhouse, the kind that whispered stories of generations who had lived and worked there. Inside lived Anna May, a 14-year-old girl known for her quietness. She wasn't the type to talk too much in class, nor did she care about fitting in with the loud, fast-moving kids in town. Anna was different. She preferred the company of her dogs. 2 shepherds, Duke and Willow. Where others might scroll through phones or rush to sports practice, Anna found her peace feeding the animals, walking barefoot in the pastures, and listening to the wind carry secrets through the cornfields. But being different came with a price. At school, her silence was mistaken for weakness. Her worn clothes, patched at the knees, made her stand out in a world where brands and appearances meant everything. Whispers followed her in the hallways, and laughter sometimes echoed behind her back. The worst of them were 3 classmates. Brianna, the leader with a sharp tongue, Kyle, who found power in mocking others, and Lacey, who followed along, always craving attention. They called Anna names: farm girl, rag girl, mute. They thought her silence meant she had no power to fight back. But Anna never fought. She would lower her eyes, press her lips into a thin line, and keep walking, not because she was weak, because she knew her words might never be enough to change their cruelty. At home, though, she was different. With Duke's broad head resting in her lap, and Willow's soft ears brushing against her side, she spoke freely. "They don't understand me," she whispered. "But you do. You always do." Her parents, hard-working farmers, noticed her struggles but knew the best lessons sometimes come when children find their own courage. Her mother reminded her, "Quiet is not the same as weak. Sometimes, quiet souls hold the fiercest storms inside them." Anna believed her mother's words, but still, each day felt heavier. Each insult carried a sting. And each night, she wondered how much longer she could bear it. The turning point came on a late autumn afternoon. The wind was sharp, scattering red and gold leaves across the dirt road that led to Anna's home. She had stayed late after school to finish her chores at the library, and by the time she walked down the road, the sky was dimming to gray. That's when she heard it: laughter. Not the kind that warms you, but the kind that cuts. She turned and saw Brianna, Kyle, and Lacey blocking the road ahead. "Well, if it isn't the little farm mouse," Brianna sneered. "Carrying books again," Kyle added. "What's the point? Cows can't read." Lacey giggled, though her eyes darted nervously, as if she wasn't fully sure about this game. Anna's heart thudded. She clutched her books tighter, hoping they'd let her pass. But they closed in, circling her like shadows. "Say something," Brianna demanded. "Or are you too dumb?" For the first time, Anna tried to speak, her voice trembling. "Please, just let me go home." That only made them laugh harder. Kyle knocked the books from her hands, pages scattering across the dirt. Brianna stepped closer, her eyes cold. "You think you're better than us because you're quiet. You're nothing, Anna. Nothing." Tears burned in her eyes, but before they could fall, something stirred behind her. A low, deep growl. From the darkening road came 2 shapes, Duke and Willow. Their ears were pinned back, teeth bared, eyes blazing with protective fire. They had followed her, as they often did. Sensing something was wrong, the bullies froze. Their laughter died instantly, replaced by silence and the sound of claws scratching against gravel as the dogs stepped forward. Duke planted himself between Anna and the bullies, chest broad, unyielding. Willow's growl deepened, sharp as the wind. Kyle stumbled back, We didn't mean anything. Lacey clutched Brianna's arm, trembling. But Brianna, prideful and pale, stood stiff, her lips quivering though she tried to hide it. Anna knelt beside Duke, her hand resting gently on his fur. For the first time in front of them, her voice was steady. You don't get to decide who I am. And you don't get to hurt me anymore. The moment hung heavy in the air. The bullies, stripped of their power, could only watch as Anna, once silent, now stood with quiet strength, backed by the loyalty of her dogs. Finally, Brianna muttered, "Let's just go." And one by one, they turned and hurried down the road, glancing back with wide eyes. Anna sank to her knees, wrapping her arms around Duke and Willow. Tears spilled, but they weren't from fear anymore. They were from release. Relief that she wasn't alone, that she had protectors who saw her worth, even when others didn't. That night, as she sat by the fire, she realized something important. The bullies hadn't been silenced by her dogs alone. They were silenced because for once, Anna didn't shrink back. She stood, even if her voice was quiet, even if her hands shook. Her mother's words echoed again. Quiet is not the same as weak, and Anna finally understood. From that day forward, the bullies kept their distance. Rumors spread of how Duke and Willow had bared their teeth, how Anna had faced them without breaking. But the real change was inside her. She didn't need the world's approval. She had found her strength, and she carried it like a lantern through the dark. And in that small farmhouse, surrounded by fields and the loyal heartbeat of her dogs, Anna knew she was not nothing. She was enough. More than enough. Final inspiring message to viewers. Sometimes, the quietest souls carry the loudest courage. Sometimes, the people who look the weakest hold the fiercest love. And sometimes, strength doesn't roar, it whispers, it waits, and it defends. Remember, being different is not being less. It is being you. And that is your greatest power.